Hello and welcome to our Nigerian viewers and viewers across the world. This is News Track. I am Kelly Egiga. Here are the stories and reports we are following for you this hour. We begin in Abuja, where Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court has dismissed a suit filed against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio challenging the legality of the 6-month suspension slammed of the Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpabio over alleged misconduct. The suit, instituted by one Ovavu Iliasu and 9 others, was dismissed by the judge on ground that they have no legal authority to bring the matter to court. The suit challenged the validity of the suspension of Natasha Akpabio for various reasons. Among others, the plaintiffs prayed the court to void the suspension of Natasha on the grounds that their senatorial district will be shortchanged, asking for a recall with immediate effect. Delivering judgment on Friday, Justice Omotosho held that the 10 plaintiffs lacked the authority to institute the action. He subsequently dismissed their suit for want of merit. But back here in Lagos, the police command has commenced the enforcement of the law regulating the use of tinted glasses on vehicles. The Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Dare Jimo, who led the exercise, says the enforcement is not intended to inconvenience law-abiding residents, but to enhance public safety, curb criminality, and ensure compliance with road safety regulations. The Commissioner asked that vehicle owners who are yet to obtain the approved tinted glass permit to do so, while others who are not desirous of obtaining the permit are advised to remove such tints or replace factory-fitted tinted glasses with transparent ones in line with the Motor Vehicles Act 2004.
We start the enforcement of the tinted glass permit across Lagos State, and this is one of the points that I visited today. I visited quite a number of other places yesterday, and I'm still going around today, but at this point the level of compliance in Lagos State is high compared to what they may have in other states. From the report I'm getting, quite a number of citizens of Lagos have complied, and very few that have not complied are in the process of complying with the enforcement. So we want members of the public not to have any fear or apprehension to go and comply. The system is open. The site where they can apply, they should apply online, then they pay online and wait for capturing in the command headquarters or other information in Lagos that have been provided for their capturing. So the enforcement is total, and Nigeria, for those who have not registered, that have not registered online, we encourage them to there's still time for them to go and register, but that means do not come on the road. But once you're on the road, you must comply with the registration processes. So if you impound your vehicle and you comply within the reasonable time, your vehicle is released to you. So far so good, everything is going smooth. Now once the police flag you down any state, bring your permit and show to them.
Now, the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy on Road Safety, Jean Todt, has added his voice to the call to put an end to road crashes and deaths in the country. He made the call in Lagos at a press conference to announce the launch of the United Nations Global Campaign for Road Safety with the theme, Make a Safety Statement. Correspondent Chris Lems reports.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, led by the Corps Marshal, is hosting a high-profile delegation today, including the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy for Road Safety and legendary footballer Didier Drogba. The main event is the launch of the UN Global Campaign for Road Safety in Nigeria, kicking off right here in Lagos. The FRSC Corps Marshal expresses his delight at this partnership.
Today, Nigeria has adopted the United Nations Decade of Action and developed the Nigeria Road Safety Strategy for road safety management to define and guide the implementation of programs and strategies that cut across all the five pillars of safe system approach. And the Nigerian government today has keyed in and given all the political will and government commitment to achieve the reduction of road traffic crash by 50% by the year 2030.
While the goal is to simply raise awareness, the urgent challenge in Nigeria makes this campaign vital.
We must wake the world up to end this carnage. This is what our campaign is about. Nigeria has an excellent national road safety strategy, but it must be actioned everywhere. There are nearly 37,000 road deaths in Nigeria each year. That's around 100 deaths every day.
Driving the Make a Safety Statement campaign are global figures, including football icon Didier Drogba.
We know we have a lot of things to do to close the gap from European countries in terms of road safety, but we are there and the will is there and we are doing our best and we'll keep doing our best. So that's why I think this kind of campaign, normally when we do a campaign, it lasts a certain time. But this one, I think you are my name forever.
The campaign strategy employs billboards with messages promoting safety culture. Key practices like speed limitation, wearing seat belts and helmets, and other safe habits are at the core of the efforts to make our roads safer. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
As part of its continuous onslaught against counterfeit and substandard products across the country, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has destroyed, seized fake, expired, substandard and falsified drugs and products worth 15 billion naira in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. According to the DG of the agency, was represented by the Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Dr. Martins. Oluomade says the exercise became necessary to prevent reintroduction of the drugs into circulation.
The estimated true value of these products being destroyed today stands at 15 billion. In some of our recent enforcement activities, a container with 277 cartons by 18 boxes by 100 by 6 tablets anti-malaria concealed as diclofenac was intercepted. The destruction of these products will undoubtedly eliminate the risk of their entry into the Nigerian market. It is imperative that you educate your families and wards about the dangers of patronizing quacks and unauthorized medicine dealers. NAFDAC calls upon everyone to actively participate in this fight. We seek your continued cooperation in providing valuable information to help us prevent and ultimately eradicate the presence of unregistered and dangerous medicines and other violative products from our society.
To other stories now, the executive chairman of the African Energy Chamber, Mr. N.J. Ayuk, has called out the Western countries in what he describes as the hypocrisy of many countries in the developed world that while still funding fossil fuel projects are instructing African countries to stop theirs. Mr. Ayuk leading the charge at this year's African Energy Week in Cape Town, South Africa, joins the growing conversation around arising from increased demand for oil and gas globally to say wealthy nations who have benefited from the resources of oil and gas should decarbonize, while Africa needs to industries. Energy correspondent Olu Phillips brings us details from Cape Town.
What a beautiful way to welcome participants to one of the world's engaging debate on the future of Africa's energy security. These heads of government, policy people, investors, experts, professionals, and other stakeholders are clearly not here to beg the questions. They've got some stern position if Africa must emerge a global energy champion.
Africa is urging you not to stop. We have a moment that our continent can produce every drop of hydrocarbons we can find, unapologetically. We produce everything. You drill everywhere, so we get it. Those that say we shouldn't produce energy, it shouldn't be lost on us that they use the most energy, that Heathrow Airport uses more electricity than the country of Sierra Leone. And you want to tell me not to produce energy? No, we are going to keep producing. Our continent's time is now.
With 600 million people set to be without energy across Africa, an International Energy Agency admitting we now need $570 billion a year to meet the growing demand for energy, here's what to do.
Our pension funds alone in Africa has over $455 billion. And insurance companies control over $320 billion. So with over 4 trillion, nobody should be deceived that capital is not in Africa. It is a way we mobilize this capital to create the energy that is needed to industrialize Africa. That is what African governments and African investors who are gathered here, should be thinking about doing.
It has been very active.
Drilling down with laser focus on the issues, the panel brought out the various trajectories among the African leaders.
And we are intervening in a couple of laws in the country that will define the way oil and gas business are conducted. We are touching the special economic zones law, the hydrocarbons law. The intention is to be absolutely competitive, one of the top African countries in terms of regulations.
We will export product coming from that project only if we have covered all the needs of the country. So they're going to produce LPG, they're going to produce LNG, they're going to produce gas, they're going to produce electricity from gas for the local market. The target is to give electricity to all Congolese people in the five years.
African energy demand is growing, so is the world's demand. That is because oil and gas forms a significant part of the energy mix. At least data tells us that.
OPEC's most recent World Oil Outlook and Summary WOO, which we released in July at the seminar, shows that the continent's crude consumption rises from 1.8 million barrels a day in 2024 to reach 4.5 million barrels a day by 2050. It's also set to remain a significant supplier of crude and condensate exports, although we see the levels dropping from 5.2 million barrels a day to 4.2 by 2050, given the rapidly rising domestic use. This growth is set to be supported by an expansion in the refining base and the refining industry, as well as the development of local reserves within the continent.
Financing upstream projects for domestic energy security, reducing direct investment barriers, maintaining the security of supply, brownfield development and its effect on stabilizing African production formed a broader part of the conversation among several deals signed and potential agreements reached here.
Nigeria, Senegal, Congo, Angola, Gabon, they've all gathered here in Cape Town to synergize, compare notes, and see what can be done to have that mutually beneficial kind of partnership between Africa and the West. If there's anything that's coming out very strong from this conference, African Energy Week, it is that Africa is saying to itself and saying to the world, we are ready to do business, but you have to do business with us on our terms. From Cape Town, South Africa, Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
You're watching News Track and we're live from our global headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. We're due for a break. When we come back, the Lagos State government has unveiled plans and activities for the 2025 Public Service Week. Plus, we have business and sports updates. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The Lagos State government has unveiled activities for the 2025 Public Service Week, restating its commitments to harnessing technology to build a smarter, more agile and globally competitive workforce. Speaking during a press conference at the Public Service Office, the head of service, Mr. Bode Agoro says the one-week activities provide an opportunity to appreciate the contributions of workers and underline the administration's focus on digital transformation. He also says civil servants who have served Lagos for over 30 years will be honored during the Long Service Merit Award ceremony and recognition of outstanding officers.
The theme of this year's event, Deepening Technology for a Smart and Agile Public Service, resonates with our administration's commitment to harnessing technology to drive transparency, efficiency, effectiveness in the Lagos State Public Service. You will quite agree with me that technology plays a crucial role in today's business world. Therefore, embracing this development to enhance service delivery, promote innovation, and build a responsive public service is very, very important. More so, in view of the critical role played by public servants in implementing government policies and programs that impact the lives of the citizens. Lagos State has prioritized digital transformation, investing in digital infrastructure and capacity development to ensure our public service remains globally competitive. This commitment has enabled us to streamline processes, improve data-driven decision-making, and enhance citizen engagement. It is important to state here that our investment in digital training for public servants is second to none in Nigeria, and it shall continue in that order to ensure that they remain relevant in a rapidly evolving technological landscape. We will also continue to leverage on technology to enhance citizens' participation in governance and getting the required feedback to improve our service delivery to residents in our great and dear state. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, as we celebrate this year's Public Service Week, we acknowledge the dedication and hard work of our public servants, recognizing that a viable public service is crucial to driving national development and addressing most of the complex challenges confronting us as a nation.
In Kogi State, Governor Usman Ododo has threatened to treat any youth caught aiding banditry in the state as a terrorist. The governor disclosed this at Isanlu in Yagba East local government area of the state while addressing some stakeholders from the area during the 8-day Fidel prayer for Pashu Ijegbemi, father of the Commissioner of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning. He says his administration remains determined to tackle security challenges in Kogi State.
Yagba East local government area of Kogi State has experienced its share of insecurity, the latest being the murder of some policemen with their arms carted away by the suspected assailants. That issue became a talking point when Governor Usman Ododo, in the company of some of his aides and senior government officials, visited Isanlu community in the area for the 8 days Fidel prayers for the father of the State Commissioner of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning. Disturbed by the development, the governor issues a warning to anyone showing support for bandits in the area.
We must work together to stop out these criminals out of our land, and government cannot do it alone. We need intelligence, credible intelligence. We need the corporations, we need the understanding, we need the sincere concern for the land. We are ready. We want to beg you to please stop giving out our lands. We want to beg you to please talk to my brothers and sisters, your children, to stop feeding criminals in the bush. If you are caught supplying food to criminals, you'll be treated as one.
He then turned to politics as he assures President Bola Tinubu of the state's unwavering support ahead of the 2027 general elections.
On behalf of the good people of Kogi State, I want to appreciate our father, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for leading from the front sincerely. When you have a sincere leader leading from the front sincerely, The result is what we are enjoying today. And we have said it. My people said I should tell you that you don't need to come to Kogi State to campaign for re-election. We are going to show gratitude come 2027.
He cautioned traditional rulers against ceding their land to strangers or criminals in the name of investment and urged the people of the state to work together as one indivisible entity with a view to deal with insecurity in Kogi State.
Let's check in now with our business desk. The governor of the central bank, Mr. Laimi Cardoso, says the growing adoption of cryptocurrencies and other digital assets to the country requires better understanding in the financial market in order to protect investors, particularly youths. He disclosed this as a keynote speaker of the CBN Governor's Annual Lecture Series hosted by the Lagos Business School. Mr. Cardoso also recalled how Nigeria was thrust into global crypto prominence 2 years ago. The regulators struggled to manage coin exchange markets, with the country ranked among the largest crypto trading hubs worldwide.
We were regarded as having, I don't know how true it is, but some of the statistics that came out put Nigeria as number 2 in terms of cryptocurrency trading. I don't know how true it is, but certainly the volumes of crypto are very large. And as a result of some of those things, of course, the Securities and Exchange Commission have started the process of putting a framework around that. And to be frank, we're deepening collaboration to ensure that all the different regulatory authorities can midwife a process that is sustainable with respect to digital currencies.
Laimi Cardoso, governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Most of us now. Credit to Nigeria's private sector fell to 75.8 trillion naira in August 2025 from 76.12 trillion naira in June 2025. That's according to the latest data from the country's apex bank. According to the CBN, this marks the 5th time this year that lending to businesses and individuals has declined. According to data, the credit to private sector peaked in April 2025, recording 78.1 trillion naira. This trend of declining credits began in February 2025, when total private sector credit fell from 77.3 trillion naira in January to 76.3 trillion naira. The downward movement continued in March, slipping further to 75.9 trillion naira, though April witnessed a temporary rebound to 78.1 trillion naira. And the gains were short-lived as credit declined again in May and June. In contrast, the year-on-year data shows an increase from 75.7 trillion naira in August 2024 to 75.8 trillion naira in August 2025. However, the repeated monthly declines in 2025 raised concerns over potential liquidity constraints, reduced lending appetites by banks, or warning credit demand from the private sector amid tight economic conditions. Let's switch gears and take you outside our shores, where the families of the Israeli hostages say they are in decisive days for a deal after Hamas says it agrees to releasing all remaining hostages in Gaza. Hamas has asked for further negotiations on several issues outlined in the U.S. peace deal revealed by Mr. Donald Trump. Still, it fails to address key aspects of it, including demands for its disarmament and its withdrawal from a role in Gaza's governance. U.S. President Mr. Donald Trump says he believes that Hamas is ready for lasting peace. And time to talk sports. Super Falcons striker Ifeoma Onumonu has announced her retirement from professional football. Ifeoma says that passion for football guided her for 22 years and culminated in unforgettable moments on both club and international stages. The 31-year-old, who made her senior debut for Nigeria in 2021, was part of the country's 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup squad and also represented the Super Falcons at the 2025 Paris Olympic Games. She featured in the team's Women African Cup of Nations triumph in July, the country's record-extending 10th continental trophy. And we definitely wish her all the best. More updates now for you. This time from the English Premier League. Declan Rice scored his first goal of the season before Bukayo Saka added a second as Arsenal comfortably defeated West Ham United in manager Mikel Arteta's 300th game in charge. It was a great day away for Saka as well to mark his 200th appearance, and that means that his impressive record now stands at 55 goals and 45 assists. Other games now, Manchester United made it 3 wins in a row at Old Trafford as they eased the pressure on Ruben Amorim with a 2-0 win over Sunderland, the Portuguese manager's 50th game in charge. Mohamed Kudus scored 1 and assisted another as Tottenham Hotspur inflicted a first league defeat on Leeds United at Ellen Road for more than a year. Well, the updates from the English Premier League does it for us here on Newstrack this hour. Thanks indeed for watching. On behalf of the production team and everyone here, I'm Kelly Egiga. Bye now.